Do you have these four powers within you? Discover what they reveal about your spiritual energy. Have you ever felt like you're living below your potential even though you know deep down that you were born for so much more? Maybe no one has ever told you, but you carry within you the same elements that God used to form the universe. That's right, the four fundamental elements of creation live within you. And no, that's not poetry. It's structure. It's truth. And most people go through their entire lives without realizing what that reveals about their own soul. The silent pain of feeling disconnected from life, lost in repetitions and emptiness, often does not come from a lack of luck or effort. It comes from a lack of understanding. Because when you ignore the structure of your soul, you live in the dark. But when you understand how the elements of earth, water, fire, and air manifest within you, everything starts to fall into place. You begin to see your mission clearly, feel peace where there was previously heaviness, and begin to attract what is truly in tune with your purpose. This is the truth that almost no one talks about, and maybe it's exactly what you were ready to hear. Throughout this video, you'll discover that your body is a sacred temple. Your soul carries forgotten codes, and your energy has the power to change your reality. We're not talking about theory, we're talking about real, practical, conscious manifestation, and totally connected to God's will. And the best part, all of this is already within you. So, before anything else, take a deep breath. Welcome to the channel, The Awakening Law of Attraction. What you're about to hear could change the way you see yourself and reconnect you with something your soul has always known, but the world taught you to forget. And it all starts when you recognize the voice of God within you. The voice of God within you. There is within each person a restlessness that cannot be silenced, a thirst for purpose, a desire to understand why we are here. This inner voice is more than intuition, it is the living presence of God whispering to the soul that life has a greater meaning. Many try to fill this void with temporary things, but nothing truly satiates until this voice is heard with the heart. Because deep down, we are all seeking a reconnection with the Creator. God is neither distant nor inaccessible. It manifests itself in simple things, in a hug that comforts, in a prayer said in silence, in a moment of peace that arises without explanation. It is through spirituality that we begin to notice the signs of divine care around us. When we choose to live with faith, we begin to see with the eyes of our soul, and we understand that we are not alone. God speaks in many ways, and the most powerful of them is within you. True spirituality is born when we decide to walk with God in all areas of life. You don't need to be perfect or understand everything. You just need to trust. And this is revealed in your actions when you decide to forgive even when you're hurt, when you give thanks even when you don't see the blessing yet, when you love even when you don't feel the same way. In these moments, you are listening to God's voice and responding to it with actions aligned with faith. This is the beginning of a transformative journey. As this voice becomes clearer, you realize that everything has purpose. Nothing is by chance. Every challenge, every door that closes, every new beginning, everything works to align you with God's perfect plan. And on this plane, there is a structure that He Himself left as a mark, a code, a divine sequence that repeats itself in creation, in the seasons, in the body, and even in its own history. And it is through this code that He continues to reveal Himself. Sacred Code God does not act on the spur of the moment. Every detail of creation carries a precise intention, a sacred signature that organizes everything that exists. This invisible pattern is what we call here a sacred code, a kind of spiritual map that connects what is visible to what is eternal. It is present in the phases of life, in the cycles of nature, in the very structure of our being. Nothing happens by chance. When you understand this code, you begin to consciously attract what previously seemed distant or impossible. The number 4 repeats like a coded key: 4 seasons, 4 directions, 4 phases of life, 4 bases of our DNA. It's as if God has placed subtle reminders throughout everything, saying, I am here and there is an order to everything. This isn't superstition, it's mindful observation. When you recognize this structure and live in harmony with it, the flow of life changes. The right doors open, the right moments arrive. You stop chasing and start aligning. This code is not to be feared or deciphered with effort. It was designed to be lived. And the most powerful way to live this alignment is with intention. Instead of praying, just asking, pray, acknowledging. Instead of acting automatically, choose with purpose. Instead of waiting for the right moment, understand that now is already part of the divine structure. When your faith finds clarity, you become a co-creator of reality with God, and miracles begin to feel natural. Perceiving this code is like seeing divine mathematics working behind the scenes. It's not just about understanding the cycles, but about position yourself within them wisely, trusting that there is a time, a rhythm, and an alignment for everything. And this alignment is what prepares you to access deeper levels of manifestation, where the geometry of the universe reveals the beauty of God's mind and your unique role within it. Sacred geometry. When God created the universe, He did not use chance. He used proportion, order, and beauty. Each flower, each cell, each galaxy carries shapes that repeat themselves with mathematical precision. This is sacred geometry, a visual language that reveals how the Creator organizes all things. From the atom to the solar system, everything follows patterns that not only sustain life, but also align it with a higher intelligence. Visible harmony is a reflection of invisible wisdom. The amazing thing is that these perfect forms are also within us. The spiral of DNA, the proportions of the human body, the shape of the heart when in vibrational coherence all point to a divine design. When you contemplate this, something inside you awakens the certainty that your existence has structure, purpose, and value. And by living in harmony with this structure, you activate a field where prayer, intention, and faith become real creative forces. Sacred geometry also works in manifestation. Imagine that your mind and emotions are instruments that emit patterns. If your thoughts are out of alignment, your reality will be too. But when you pray with faith, visualize with love, and act with confidence, your vibrational field adjusts. The result? Things begin to flow, answers come, and what seemed difficult becomes accessible. This is not magic, it is alignment with divine order. Living with this awareness is like dancing to the rhythm of God. You stop forcing things and start flowing with what is right at the right time. And the closer you get to this harmony, the more you realize that everything, absolutely everything, was designed to cooperate with your evolution. But for that, you need to wake up. Because only those who awaken see beyond the form. Fly, and begin to feel the Creator's plan pulsing behind everything. Divine intelligence. There is an intelligence behind everything that lives and breathes. It is not just creative, it is present, active, and participatory. It is God organizing apparent chaos to perfection. You may not understand certain events, but when you look back, you realize that there was something guiding, adjusting, and caring. This divine intelligence knows your paths better than you do. And when you decide to trust, life ceases to be a constant struggle and becomes an experience of purpose. Everything in creation obeys an invisible logic. the tides, the heartbeat, the sequence from birth to death, everything follows a divine orchestra. When you live out of step with this wisdom, you feel confusion, anxiety, and blockages. But when you surrender to God's direction, even without seeing the complete map, the next steps begin to reveal themselves. Not because everything around you has changed, but because you have changed within. And inner transformation always precedes outer manifestation. This intelligence is also in you. It was placed there by God as a spark of His own wisdom. It manifests as intuition, peace, discernment. How many times have you felt like something warned you? How many right decisions were born from a feeling that even you couldn't explain? This is God guiding you from within. And the more you silence the outside noise, the more clearly you hear that voice. Divine wisdom does not shout at whispers. Recognizing this presence completely changes the way you pray, decide, and act. It's not about controlling the future, but about walking in communion with the one who already knows the end. And the more you trust, the more you realize that you don't have to do it all alone. You were made to co-create with God, and that partnership begins when you surrender to the wisdom that is already there, available, waiting to be accessed with faith and courage. Cosmic. Architecture, nothing in creation is disorganized. God is an architect, and His design is grand. The universe, with its billions of galaxies, is not a directionless explosion. It is a meticulously balanced, living construction. There is purpose in every star, in every orbit, in every cell. When you look at the sky with this awareness, you see not only beauty, you see a reminder that there is order and intention underpinning everything. You are part of this architecture. You are not on the fringes, you are at the center of the plan. The same structure that rules the heavens also operates within you. Your body, your mind, your soul, everything is designed to align with Source. You are not an accident. You are an essential piece in a divine gear. When you resist this alignment, you feel heaviness, but when you surrender, you feel flow. Cosmic architecture is not something distant, it is a mirror of what is happening inside. You have within you the same elements that move the universe. This understanding brings peace and responsibility. Peace because you understand that you don't need to control everything. God already has a plan. Responsibility because now you know that your vibration influences this plan. Your thoughts are bricks. Your words are pillars. Your actions are tools. With each choice, you build or block. You are not just living. You are participating in the continuous construction of a reality created from your faith, your surrender, and your intention. And when you start acting with this awareness, everything changes. Your prayer takes shape. His silence turns into an answer. Your presence becomes light. Living in alignment with God's architecture is living with purpose. It's knowing that nothing is disconnected. Everything makes sense, including what still doesn't make sense now. And little by little, this perception prepares you for something even deeper, the awakening of consciousness. Awakening of consciousness. Awakening isn't about learning something new, it's about remembering who you are. It's when the soul begins to see more clearly, and what previously seemed just every day starts to carry meaning. This awakening does not happen all at once. It comes in stages, like light coming through the cracks in a window. Suddenly you start to notice the patterns, the repetitions, the signs, and understand that God never stopped talking to you, it was you who was too distracted to listen. This process of active awareness invites you to get out of autopilot mode. When you awaken, your questions change. You stop asking why me and start asking what's the point. Instead of blaming the world, you start observing what within you still needs to align with peace, faith, and divine guidance. Awakening is silent but profound. It transforms the way you see time, people, and most importantly, yourself. This state of higher consciousness is like turning on a light in a dark room. You see what was there all along, but only now makes sense, and there's no going back. Once you wake up, the emptiness of before no longer satisfies you. Superficiality tires. You out! The rush loses its shine. You begin to value silence, prayer, and presence. And you feel a real thirst for living with purpose. That's when the world starts to change because you started it. Awakening consciousness is not about isolating yourself or living outside of reality. On the contrary, it means living with more presence within it. It's acting wisely where there was previously impulsiveness. It's hearing God's voice amidst the noise. It is recognizing that reality is not only what the eyes see, but also what the spirit discerns. And when you begin to align with this new way of seeing and feeling, something realigns internally. Something begins to vibrate in tune with Source. Energetic alignment. Aligning yourself energetically is like tuning into a radio station. If there is noise, you don't hear the message clearly. God is always transmitting in the form of direction, peace, and inspiration. But to capture it, you need to be on the right frequency. And this frequency begins within you. Negative thoughts, accumulated sorrows, and lack of faith work as interference. Gratitude, sincere prayer, and trust in God's timing clear the signal. Energy alignment is not mystical, it is spiritual and practical. You feel it when you are in alignment, things flow, intuition becomes clear, answers come. It's not that problems disappear, but you deal with them with wisdom and balance. A practical tip? Start your day in silence. Place your hand on your heart and say, Lord, align my mind with your plan, my emotions with your peace, and my steps with your direction today. This simple habit changes everything. Every action, every word, every thought emits a vibration. And this vibration speaks to the environment around you. People who are always in conflict, for example, tend to carry a disorganized energy field. But when you choose forgiveness, humility, and truth as your pillars, you reorganize the field and become a magnet of possibilities. Not because you forced something, but because you allowed God to act through your frequency. Being aligned is living intentionally. It is recognizing that you are not a victim of circumstances, but co-creator of a reality aligned with the divine will. And the more you live in this high frequency, the more doors open effortlessly, the more right people appear along the way, and the more you feel peace in the midst of chaos. And this high vibration will connect you directly with an even deeper dimension, that of quantum reality. Vibration. Everything vibrates. From the sound of your voice to the thought you choose to entertain, everything emits a frequency. Vibration is like an energetic signature that you carry and transmit at all times. And the truth is that life responds more to your vibration than to your words. You can say that you trust in God, but if you vibrate with fear and doubt, that is the frequency you send out. And the universe, like a sensitive mirror, responds according to this emission. Vibration is not something esoteric. It is a natural consequence of what you feel, think, and believe. When you are at peace, your vibration calms environments. When you are in conflict, your presence carries tension. Have you ever noticed how certain people light up the room without saying anything? That is high vibration. And the secret is not in forcing positivity, but in aligning your energy with Source. How? By cultivating thoughts of faith, gratitude, and presence. Simple, but powerful. You can change your vibration in minutes. Praise, sincere prayer, quiet time with God, all of these have the power to raise your frequency. And when your vibration rises, your circumstances begin to reorganize. That problem that seemed gigantic begins to lose strength. Ideas flow, the right people appear, and even the body responds with more vitality. This is no coincidence, it is a reflection of the vibration you are emitting. Keeping your vibration high is a daily exercise. It's not about never getting bored, but about not remaining in the vibrations that keep you from peace. It's knowing how to identify when you fell and choosing to get up quickly. Because the longer you remain in a negative vibration, the more you attract situations compatible with it. And maintaining this vigilance is essential to stably access what many call the frequency field. Frequency field, imagine that you carry an invisible field around you, like an energetic cloud that transmits everything you are, your emotions, beliefs, intentions, and faith. This is your frequency field. It expands or contracts depending on the vibration you hold. And most importantly, this field constantly communicates with the environment, with people, and even with the events in your life. He is like a spiritual business card that precedes his presence. This field depends not only on what you do, but mainly on what you feel while doing it. Two people can pray the same prayer, but if one is in complete confidence and the other in doubt, the field that each activates will be completely different. God perceives this, and the frequency field, although invisible to the human eye, responds directly to the sincerity of the heart. The authenticity of your faith is what strengthens your connection with the heavens. You can expand this field in practical ways. Start your day by choosing what you will feed praise or complaint, hope or anxiety. Create daily moments of reconnection even, if brief, in which you stop everything, take a deep breath and surrender your field to be purified by God. A good practice is to say out loud phrases that elevate your state, such as "I am guided by God's wisdom," or "My field attracts grace, peace, and purpose." Words shape the field, and your faith energizes each one. When your field is clear and elevated, you become more sensitive to God's presence and more receptive to the blessings prepared for you. Answers come more clearly, relationships fall into place, pathways open. Because the frequency field doesn't just attract, it protects, guides, and prepares. And it is within this field that you begin to manifest with awareness, transforming intention into reality, thought into form, desire into co-creation. Conscious creation, you are creating all the time with your words, your thoughts, your choices. But creating unconsciously is like driving with your eyes closed. You may get somewhere, but you take unnecessary risks. Conscious creation, on the other hand, is when you understand that you have an active role in what you are building with God. It is when your faith stops being just expectation and becomes partnership, a daily alliance with the Creator to manifest purpose. Creating with awareness is aligning intention and action. It is praying and at the same time preparing the ground to receive. If you ask for peace, you have to be willing to silence the noise. If you ask for prosperity, you need to learn to honor what you already have. God answers yes, but expects cooperation. When you act with intelligent faith, one that prays and also moves time adjusts, opportunities arise, and the unseen begins to take shape before your eyes. Conscious creation also requires vigilance. There is no point in asking for light while harboring dark thoughts. What you think in silence is creating as much as what you verbalize. So be intentional with your thoughts. Choose words that build. Cultivate feelings that uplift. Not because it is pretty, but because it is effective. God has given you creative authority, and using it consciously is honoring the gift He has entrusted to you. And the more you practice this conscious creation, the more you realize that you are participating in something much bigger than your personal desires. You are manifesting the kingdom in you, through you, and around you. And this type of manifestation only happens when you understand that each choice, each emotion, each prayer is planting a seed that will germinate at the right time. And it is this seed that begins to touch the entire structure of creation. Elements and structure. God, in his wisdom, did not create human beings separate from creation. He formed us with the same elements that govern the earth. Earth, water, fire, and air are not just forces of nature, they are mirrors of our inner structure. When we understand this, we realize that we were created with purpose and balance. These four elements are not just outside of us, they shape our personality, our body, our emotions, and even our way of connecting with the divine. Earth represents the foundation, stability, that which sustains. It is the physical body, discipline, and habits that root our faith in our daily lives. Water, on the other hand, speaks of emotions, fluidity, and sensitivity. It is how much you allow yourself to feel, forgive, and renew. Fire is action, passion, and faith in motion. It purifies, transforms, and propels. And air is thought, spirit, and the breath that connects you to the presence of God. Breathing with intention is praying without words. It is aligning yourself with the breath of life. These four elements are also reflected in your behaviors. A person out of balance with earth can feel unstable and unfocused. Someone with too much water can drown in their own emotions. A lack of fire can lead to apathy, and too much air can generate anxiety and confusion. Balance comes when you recognize these patterns and begin to adjust them with prayer, awareness, and spiritual practice. It is not mystical, it is functional. It is practical wisdom from the Creator. Living in harmony with these elements is honoring the structure that God gave you. When your land is firm, your water flows clean, your fire burns with purpose, and your air flows freely, your vibration rises. And by aligning yourself with this divine framework, you become a clearer channel of God's will on earth. But this structure goes far beyond the physical body. It goes deep into the spiritual DNA that carries the codes of your eternal identity. 4 elements. The 4 elements, earth, water, fire, and air, are not just symbolic concepts. They represent living dimensions of God's creation within you. Each carries a spiritual, emotional, and energetic function. When they are in balance, you feel clarity, peace, and direction. When one of them is in excess or lack, blockages, disconnection, or repetition of patterns arise. Understanding these elements is like receiving a manual from your own soul. Earth is what anchors you, your discipline, your structure, your sense of responsibility. It's when you wake up with purpose and honor your time and commitments. Water is your ability to feel, to adapt, to embrace. It teaches you to be flexible without losing your essence. Fire is your faith in action, that flame that moves you when everything seems dark. And air is your direct connection to God's, where ideas, intuition, and the breath of the soul reside. These elements are present in everything. In the way you react to difficulties, in the way you express yourself, in the decisions you make. A person can be very earthy, firm, constant, but need to learn from the fluidity of water. Another may have a lot of fire, but easily get lost due to lack of air, of vision. Therefore, self-knowledge is key. Praying for balance and wisdom is a powerful step towards adjusting this system that God designed perfectly. When you begin to understand these elements not as abstract categories, but as living parts of your essence, everything changes. You begin to observe yourself with more compassion and develop what is dormant. And this prepares you to go deeper, as each element, when studied separately, reveals practical keys to aligning your vibration with divine will. And that's why we're now going to dive into the first of them, land. The four elements that support your spiritual manifestation within you, there are four fundamental forces that shape your spiritual, emotional, and material life: earth, water, fire, and air. When in balance, these elements not only align your energy with divine purpose, but become concrete pillars for the conscious manifestation of reality. The earth is your base. It represents discipline, care for the body, organization of life, and the strength to transform faith into attitude. It is the energy that materializes dreams and sustains processes, remembering that without structure there is no lasting manifestation. Water flows through the emotions and the soul. It heals, cleanses, and renews. It is the deep feeling, the sincere prayer, the crying that relieves, the empathy that connects. It is through water that you release the past and create space for the new, allowing the voice of God to be heard clearly. Fire is spiritual action. It is courage, faith in motion, and decision aligned with purpose. It transforms, drives, and purifies. When awakened, this inner fire lifts you up, even in the midst of fear, guiding your steps with intensity and commitment. And the air, finally, is the divine breath. It represents inspiration, conscious breathing, and the silence that connects with the invisible. It is through it that your mind clears, your intuition awakens, and the presence of God becomes alive within you. When these four elements are in harmony, your life becomes fertile soil for miracles. Your prayer takes shape. Your faith becomes action. Your soul finds peace, and your mind receives direction. You don't just manifest, you embody divine creation itself, multidimensional reality and co-creation. You do not live in just one dimension. While your feet touch the ground, your soul moves in invisible spheres that directly influence your reality. Multidimensional reality reveals that you exist on different levels at the same time: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And everything is interconnected. A decision made with spiritual clarity can transform a situation in the physical world. A feeling sustained by faith can open doors that seemed closed. It is at this intersection between worlds that co-creation happens. Co-creating is assuming your role in God's plan without stealing His glory. It is recognizing that you were made in the image of the Creator, and therefore, carry within you the ability to generate realities based on what you feel, think, and choose. God plants dreams. You cultivate with actions and faith. And what flourishes is the result of the partnership between heaven and your willingness to respond to the call. Co-creating is not demanding, it is collaborating. It is listening and acting. According to the direction received, many try to manifest on the outside what has not yet been ordered on the inside. But true co-creation begins in the invisible. Aligned prayer, clear thinking, pure emotion, firm intention, all of these build bridges between dimensions. And when these bridges are well formed, the manifestation becomes a consequence. It's not a matter of luck. It's a matter of vibration aligned with eternal purpose. Living with this awareness means no longer being a hostage to circumstances, and instead taking on the role of a co-worker with God. You are not here to survive. You are here to manifest the kingdom. And when you understand that your life touches multiple levels at once, you begin to act with greater reverence, purpose, and power. And it all begins with a choice: to live intentionally, with your eyes on eternity and your feet firmly planted in the present. Now that you've come this far, tell me, what are you still waiting for to live the life that God dreamed for you? Everything you need has already been placed within you. The four elements live there. The codes, the centers, the frequencies, the signals, they had all been calling you for some time. Today, you heard it. Now, you know. And when the truth arrives, you can no longer pretend you didn't see it. The next step is yours. Will you continue to postpone the transformation that has already begun? Will you return to your routine as if nothing has been revealed? Or will you choose to live with intention, with faith, with presence, and manifest what God has already placed in your spirit from the beginning? If any part of this video has sparked something within you, then take it to heart. Start today. Pray more deeply. Breathe more consciously. Decide more clearly. Live more truthfully. And remember, there is no manifestation without movement. You were created to be a light, and the world needs yours. And before we close, don't leave without doing this. Check out the latest video on the channel. While you sleep, abundance awakens. Activate the law of attraction effortlessly. If this video touched you, this one will impact you even more deeply. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this content with someone you love. Because when we wake up, we don't go back to the same place.